My name is Pease. I was born in France, but my family is American. I've always wondered what America must have been like. So I saved some money for a long time and decided to take a big trip to America so that I could live abroad and get to know the place. My first plan was to stay there and look for a job until I could find a better place instead of Airbnb. I settled in that new house very quickly. I sat comfortably in the dining room and turned on the TV for the first time. Suddenly I got a message on my phone. When I checked my cell phone, I saw that the number was from America. Who was messaging me? It wasn't even the number of the owner of the Airbnb, and I didn't know anyone in this country yet. As soon as I opened this message, I was confused. It turned into fear. "You are not alone here. Get out of here." Was it a threat? Maybe the owner of the Airbnb gave my number to someone and is now playing a prank on me. I decided to ignore him, and then I went to the kitchen to prepare my food when I got another message. "Get out of the kitchen right now. Something very bad is about to happen." Okay, so this is very scary. How do I know if there are cameras in this house in the kitchen? I am sure it will be fine. Yes, of course. Thank you for taking care of your village. Doctor, look, baby. I don't know who did this to you. Why are you saving him? But to be honest, you need to be very careful. Don't worry, doctor. It was just an accident. The knife came and hit me, baby. I am not judging you. There is no need for you to lie to me. I have been doing this work for many years. The fall of a knife cannot cause such a deep wound. Look what's on the inside of your hand. Only a human can do this. He is also someone who has killed with a lot of effort, but just take care of yourself. Okay, doctor, when I was going back to the Airbnb, I had no choice but to be scared. After all, who was sending me that message? Why did he want to hurt me? No one had thrown a knife at me. Then how come it hit my hand so hard? I was very confused, and in that condition, I also sent a message to that number, but there was no response from the other end. I got back to the Airbnb and fell asleep straight on the bed with the pain in my arm. I opened my eyes in fear. I had the worst nightmare of my life. It was not that in my dream someone was trying to catch me, or my family member had met with an accident, or my tooth was broken. I dreamed that someone was sitting on the ceiling of my room staring at me, watching me sleep. There is someone who is slowly approaching me and wants to harm me. I looked around, but I was alone. Something seemed very wrong. There was a strange smell in the room, and that too very strong. Because of that, I felt like vomiting. Well, I am thankful to my phone that I opened my eyes because of that. But when I looked at it, it was a message from the same number that had sent me threatening messages before. I was not happy. "If you keep sitting on the bed, you will die. Get up from here as soon as possible." This message was not looking like a threat, but it was looking like a warning. I read the previous messages once again, and they too were giving warnings instead of threats. Whoever was sending me this message, that now he was trying to save me. Well, whatever it was, but he was saying the right thing at the time of the kitchen, so this time I was not going to take the risk. I got up from my bed and went to the bathroom. Why did I lose my teeth on this pretext? When I was in the bathroom, I heard some strange sound coming from inside a room, and when I opened the door, my toothbrush fell out of my mouth and fell on the floor. My bunk bed was completely broken. My cell phone rang again, so I pulled it out of my pocket, and there was a message on it. "Get out of the bathroom right now." Completely believing that message, I immediately jumped out of the bathroom and found the figure on the floor in my room. Suddenly the bathroom light went off and the door slammed shut on its own. From inside, I started hearing loud knocking on the door. I could not understand the meaning of this at all. A second ago, there was no one inside the bathroom, and now suddenly there was someone inside who was very angry. I once again read the message on the cell phone. "He can't give you, but he knows where you are from Make His Move. Who is he?" As if I got the answer to my point. I heard a voice behind me. I looked towards where the sound was coming from, and there was something, or should I say, someone sitting in the corner of my room, crouching down. I could not believe what I was seeing. His face was pale white, and his body was also white, but something was wrong with him. He was not a human. He had no nose. His eyes were looking here and there madly as he was trembling. But the scariest thing was his smile, long and terrifying from ear to ear. I was shocked. Suddenly that strange thing stood up and slowly started walking towards me. Ignoring the warning message in the cell, I started running outside. I reached the kitchen and started running towards the door leading out. I put the key on the door, but nothing happened. That door was still closed. I started examining it and was surprised to see that the lock on it was holding it. Where did this come from? I tried to open the locks, but before I could do anything, I heard a voice behind me. I turned back and it was there. That strange, very scary thing was behind me. I was locked in this house just a few steps away from me. Now there was nothing I could do to save myself. I was able to see my death very closely as it was written in that message. That thing was not looking into my eyes. She was just roaming around. His mouth opened slowly as if he was guessing that he was very close to me. I could see a small knife in his hand, which he was probably about to use on me. Then he fell on the ground crying and started praying that my death should be less painful. But suddenly something even more strange happened. When the man was only a few meters away from me, someone came out of the wall and held him tightly. Neither that wall was broken, nor was there any other damage on it. It seemed as if it had become of rubber. For example, the more you pull, the longer and wider it can become. The thing that came out of the wall looked like a human being. I could not understand what was happening, but I understood that this was my only chance to escape. I kept trying to break the lock with the help of my phone. That lock was very small and weak too. It soon broke down and I managed to get out of it. Despite all this, the demon was still trying his best to reach me. His smile was still intact. He knew that he could not see me, but still he was looking at me. He didn't pay any attention to the power emanating from inside the wall. The next day, not paying much attention to the ghost story, I told the owner of the Airbnb that entered the house last night. The police came along with us, and they immediately smelled the foul smell coming from inside the house, which I had also been feeling for quite some time. After not finding anything strange in the house, they have discovered that the smell is coming from a hole in the wall of the house. A person had saved me by coming out of the wall. The police took permission from the landlord, and after many hours of hard work, they broke the wall. Behind him was the body of a boy among the bricks, with multiple wounds on his body. Oh God, look here, this guy has been dead for weeks. The landlord recognized that girl. He had lived here before. The landlord felt that he suddenly vacated the room due to some emergency, because the boy had never given him any answer. None of us could understand how the boy got stuck in the wall and what happened to him. But when the police was taking out his body, I saw his boy's hand, and at that time I understood everything. He was holding a phone tightly in his hand, and even though it had been weeks since his death,